If you receive Social Security benefits, November 2025 brings not just important changes, but potentially life-changing extra money that you need to know about. Let me walk you through exactly what is happening with your payment schedule and the factors affecting your benefits, including some incredible news about additional monthly payments that many people are already receiving. First, your payment date depends on two key factors: when you started receiving benefits and your birth date. If you began receiving Social Security before May 1997, you are part of a special group that receives payments on the 3rd of every month. For November 2025, that means your payment will arrive on November 3rd. If the 3rd falls on a weekend or holiday, you would receive it on the last business day before, but this year November 3rd is a Monday, so you will get your payment right on schedule. For everyone who started receiving benefits after May 1997, your birth date determines everything. If you were born between the 1st and 10th of the month, your November payment will arrive on the 2nd Wednesday, which is November 12th. Those born between the 11th and 20th will receive their payment on the 3rd Wednesday, November 19th. And if you were born between the 21st and 31st, your payment comes on the 4th Wednesday, November 26th. This system was designed to spread out the massive volume of payments Social Security processes each month, making the system more efficient for everyone. Now let us talk about what is happening with your payment amount this year, and here is where it gets really exciting. The cost of living adjustment for 2025 is 2.5%, which began affecting your payments starting in January. But that is not all. Beginning in January 2026, you will receive an additional 2.8% cost of living adjustment. Let me break down exactly what this means for you in real dollars. If you currently receive $1,000 per month, the 2.8% increase will give you an extra $28 each month. If you receive $1,200, you will get $33.60 extra monthly. For those receiving $1,400, that is $39.20 more each month. If you get $1,500, you will see $42 extra monthly. For those receiving $1,800, that is $50.40 more each month. And if you receive $2,000, you will get $56 extra every single month starting in January. This adjustment was calculated using inflation data from the 3rd quarter of 2024, specifically looking at the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. This index measures actual price changes for essential expenses like food, housing, transportation, and medical care. But here is something many people do not realize. Your base benefit amount is not just about adding a percentage to what you were getting before. Social Security looks at your entire earnings history, adjusted for wage inflation over all the years you worked, and then applies their benefit formula. If you are still working while receiving benefits, this becomes even more complex. When you earn income higher than one of the years currently used in your calculation, Social Security automatically substitutes that higher earning year into your formula. This creates an increase that is completely separate from the cost of living adjustment, and it happens automatically without you doing anything. Now for the part that catches most people off guard: Medicare premiums. If you are enrolled in Medicare Part B, and most people over 65 are, your premium is automatically deducted from your Social Security payment. For 2025, the standard monthly premium for Medicare Part B is $185, an increase of $10.30 from the previous year. When Medicare premiums increase, they can eat into any cost of living adjustment you receive. The law includes something called hold harmless provisions designed to protect you. This means your Social Security payment should not decrease just because Medicare premiums went up. But these protections only apply under certain circumstances. If you are new to Medicare, if you are a high-income beneficiary, or if you did not receive Social Security for the entire previous year, you might not be protected. This means you could see a Medicare premium increase that actually makes your net payment lower, even though your gross benefit went up. But now I want to share some incredible news that could mean hundreds of extra dollars in your pocket every single month. The Social Security Fairness Act was signed into law on January 5, 2025, and it is already putting money back into people's bank accounts. This law ends the windfall elimination provision and government pension offset that were reducing Social Security benefits for over 2.8 million people. This includes teachers, firefighters, police officers in many states, federal employees covered by the civil service retirement system, and people whose work had been covered by a foreign Social Security system. Starting February 25, 2025, the Social Security Administration began adjusting monthly benefit payments for people affected by these provisions. The average increase is about $360 per month, though some people are receiving over $1,000 more each month. As of July 2025, over 3.1 million payments totaling $17 billion have already been sent out 5 months ahead of schedule. If you are one of the people affected, you will receive a one-time payment covering the increase back to January 2024, plus your new higher monthly benefit amount going forward. You do not need to do anything if the Social Security Administration already has your correct mailing address and direct deposit information. But if you want to verify your information, you can check your personal My Social Security account or call 1-800-772-1213. And there is even more good news on the horizon. The Social Security Expansion Act has been introduced in Congress and would provide an additional $2,400 per year. That is $200 more each month for current Social Security recipients. This legislation would also ensure Social Security is fully funded for the next 75 years by requiring the wealthy to pay the same 12.4% on their investment and business income that everyone else pays on their wages. While this bill has not yet passed, it shows that there is momentum for increasing Social Security benefits for those who need it most. Let us talk about supplemental security income for a moment, because this program operates on completely different rules. SSI payments always go out on the first of the month. If the first falls on a weekend or holiday, the payment comes early, not late. For November 2025, since November 1st is a Saturday, SSI recipients will receive their payment on October 31st, the last business day before. SSI is designed for people with limited income and resources, and payment amounts are adjusted annually for cost of living, just like Social Security. For 2025, the maximum monthly SSI benefit is $967 for an eligible individual and $1,450 for an eligible couple. But here is the key difference. SSI is not based on your work history at all. It is a needs-based program with strict income and asset limits. There are also additional support programs available that many seniors do not know about. Medicare savings programs can pay for your monthly Part B premium, which is $185 in 2025. That is $2,220 in annual savings. There are also programs for housing assistance, healthcare cost reduction, utility bill help, and food assistance that can make a significant difference in your monthly budget. Now I need to address the elephant in the room. You have probably heard that Social Security is running out of money or that benefits will be cut. Here are the actual facts. Social Security has 2 separate trust funds, one for retirement and survivor benefits and another for disability benefits. These funds build up massive reserves for decades because the system knew the baby boom generation would eventually retire. We have now reached that point. The trust funds are paying out more in benefits than they are taking in from payroll taxes, which means they are drawing down those reserves. Current projections suggest that if nothing changes, the combined trust funds will be depleted by 2034. But here is what that actually means. Even if the trust funds were completely exhausted, Social Security would still be able to pay benefits from incoming payroll taxes. Those benefits would be reduced to about 70 to 80% of scheduled amounts, but the program would not disappear. And with legislation like the Social Security Expansion Act being proposed, which would fully fund the program for 75 more years, there is hope for avoiding any benefit reductions. What does all this mean for your payment right now? You need to look at several factors to understand what you should be receiving. First, verify your payment date based on when you started benefits and your birth date. Second, consider whether you had any earnings last year that might trigger a recalculation. Third, check whether your Medicare premiums changed and how that affects your net payment. Fourth, find out if you are eligible for the Social Security Fairness Act increases, especially if you are a teacher, firefighter, police officer, or federal employee. Fifth, explore additional support programs like Medicare savings programs that could save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars annually. Understand that any cost of living adjustment is applied to your current benefit amount. If you are receiving a smaller benefit to begin with, a percentage increase results in a smaller dollar increase compared to someone with a larger benefit. That is basic math, but it frustrates people who feel they should be getting more. There is also the matter of federal income taxes on Social Security benefits. Depending on your total income, up to 85% of your benefits can be subject to federal income tax. This does not mean you pay 85% in taxes. It means that 85% of your benefit counts as taxable income, and then you pay your regular tax rate on that amount. The thresholds for this taxation have not been adjusted for inflation in decades, which means more beneficiaries find themselves paying taxes on their benefits every year. Let me address the rumors and misinformation that circulate constantly. You might see posts on social media claiming there is a special one-time payment coming or that certain beneficiaries will receive a bonus. While the Social Security Fairness Act is providing real increases to millions, these other claims are almost always false. Social Security does not operate through surprise payments. Everything is scheduled, calculated, and announced well in advance. If there were a genuine additional payment, it would be on the official SSA website and reported by legitimate news sources. When you see these claims on social media, especially if they ask you to click a link or provide personal information, that is a scam. Understanding your Social Security payment requires looking at your individual situation in detail. The system is designed to provide income security in retirement, disability, or after the loss of a family breadwinner. But it is complex, reflecting decades of policy decisions, demographic changes, and economic conditions. Your November payment represents all these factors coming together in your specific case. If you see an increase, that is the system maintaining your purchasing power. If your increase seems smaller than expected, it is likely because of Medicare premium increases or other deductions. And if something seems genuinely wrong, Social Security has a process for reviewing and correcting errors. But you have to take the initiative to report the problem and follow through. Do not leave money on the table because you did not understand how the system works. Check if you are eligible for the Social Security Fairness Act increases. Look into additional support programs. And stay informed about legislation like the Social Security Expansion Act that could mean even more money in your pocket in the future. Your financial security is worth the effort.